You go 4, 3, 2.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And as we twim the twee, how much fun it's gonna be together. This Christmas, fireside is blazing bright. We're caroling through the night. And this Christmas will be a very special Christmas for me. To me.
That was good.
That was all right.
Sorry you all had to hear that.
Here's the thing with the RJ3K podcast, specifically the ChristmasCast,
Tell
is
me.
that you never know what you're going to get. It's free form.
Yeah.
I'm holding up a 2 on my fingers. 3.
I count them. 1, 2, 3.
We're a lot of fun. Those are the 3 laws of RJ3K.
And Donny Hathaway.
Donny Hathaway, I'm going to put you under my boot.
Oh, you can't. No.
Why?
You have to listen.
Why?
He's not alive.
Oh, shit. Well, he's beneath my boot currently, then. As I walk this mortal earth.
At this mortal coil. Look, I need to catch everybody up to speed. Look, a few years ago, if you really look back, it was Podcast 9. I call him the Pope.
The RJ3K mythos
expands.
Yes, it continues to
like
expand.
A blowfish.
No, it's really more complex than that. It's really analogous to the universe.
Wow, analogous.
Expanding. Why, do you think I'm a fucking idiot? You think I'm a joke? You think I'm a clown? You think I'm terrible?
Don't talk about Joe like that.
Joe Pesci?
Yes. Joe Scarborough. Scarborough.
That's my favorite neighborhood in New York, Scarborough.
Oh, wow.
Look, go on with what you were going to say.
Look, man, I needed to give a holiday update, and I felt like coming out of the gates, I needed to pay some reverence. Because, look, I talked about it years ago. Everybody look back on Podcast 9, please. It's
everybody,
great.
Yeah. Well, I feel like most people have.
It's late, but it's great. The late great podcast, the late great Donny Hathaway. Look, the song "This Christmas" is one that I brought up years ago. I think it was 2015.
This is a really interesting. Okay, you brought up "This Christmas," and I think of "This Christmas." You gave me my heart. The very next day, you gave it away. Who is that? What is that? I feel like that's more popular and more prevalent. What are you on about?
Was that a Mariah Carey song?
It might be, and
I don't know.
Just based on that,
cover of it.
Based on that, I regret saying everything I just said because I really am not a fan.
I just don't. I mean, I don't know.
I feel like that's a more popular version or song.
Sometimes when you hear a pop musician's rendition of a Christmas song, you don't even realize it's that. Sometimes they're respectable enough to realize this is the holiday. It shouldn't be vain
outside of myself.
Yeah, it shouldn't be vain and about me. But then you have Chris Brown, who did a cover of This Christmas that sounds like, "In the end, it's gonna be. It's like, stop, dude. You're doing like vocal theatrics.
That is basically every time a pop musician does a national anthem at a sports event.
Or just
They just add their own flair to it.
But sometimes
every time that happens, and I'm with my parents, you can just see my dad like recoil. Just
whoa. I almost made a point. I hate to already. I don't know. The bro code dictates.
Oh God, where are you watching?
The bro code.
You're not.
I've been looking at what's.
You're not supposed to be watching MTV.
The chive.
Are you fucking kidding me?
The chive dictates. Don't bring girlfriends into the mix, but hey, look, since RJ3K started, haven't had a girlfriend. I got one now.
Wow, I can't believe we're already on this.
No, we're not going to talk about her, but we're going to talk about her.
I hope she's listening. Look, I know she is. She's a subscriber.
She is listening. She's our newest subscriber.
I can't wait to meet you.
Man, it's kind of hard to believe that our newest subscriber, if you really listen to this, they could see her her first and last name on YouTube. I don't know why she did that.
You should not point that out. Really, though? Hey, 67 subscribers waiting on the plaque. That's a big milestone.
I had to unpin that, by the way.
Why?
I got tired of it.
You're sick of my own fucking jokes. Make your own joke and then pin it. Okay?
Look. I fucked up. No. And I want to take this forum to apologize to her because it's really tough, and I want to make a big dedication. I made a bad joke, and I really fucked up. Look,
one bad joke.
Look. We were talking about
when was this
the cover. This was probably about a week ago. I was talking about the cover by Chris Brown of This Christmas by Donny Hathaway. And I expressed how much I loathe when musicians have to, when it's Christmas music, don't make it about yourself. Be, what's the phrase? Selfless. Be selfless with it. It's not about you. You shouldn't try to turn the spotlight back on you. But Chris Brown did, I said, a cover of that song, and that's just like I said, it's like a roller coaster of vocal theatrics. It doesn't need to be that much. And this is a term that my girlfriend and everyone else in my life has seemed to make blatantly apparent. It's too extra. It's extra.
Listen to the status you talk about my girlfriend.
Look, I'm not trying to show off, but I said something really fucked up, and I feel like I need to repent almost because it's Christmas. What else do you do?
Hey, what's Christmas for? You know what I'm saying? Hey, you're not Catholic ethnically?
Well, I'm not any of that, but ethnically Catholic.
I always say that as a joke. That's what I consider myself.
I talked about the shittiness of the cover and how shitty Chris Brown is, and really there's going to be further discussion of pop musicians and the controversy over how I feel about them. The public is very upset. Everyone at RJ3K, they've all been in a stir. I've gotten a lot of advertisers pulled, but I said something bad. Chris Brown only ever did one thing that was good.
Well, let's hear it.
What do you think it is?
I have no idea.
I don't even know.
Oh, I know what it is. I think I know what it is.
All right, everybody by this point.
It must be really bad what you said.
Everybody by this point should
terrible.
know.
I see it in your eyes.
The point I made.
I see the fire in your eyes.
What criminal act did Chris Brown do?
He destroyed Rihanna. That's the one good thing.
Literally. And I'm coming at you guys.
I see the
apologetic.
I see the glisten in your eyes.
I'm trying to atone.
I don't think this is sincere.
No! What do you want me to do? Don't tell her that.
I'm telling you.
Wait, is she listening? This
well,
isn't good. Ariel, I'm sorry. I just listen to his music. Listen to Rihanna's music. They should both be put in.
I see you're tearing up saying this. I can tell. Look at you.
I'm sorry. I feel like a Curb Your Enthusiasm ending where I'm backing into a corner and the music starts. Definitely include the music cue here. I made that joke in front of her, and I walked myself into it. It might be something that I would make to you and totally not feel bad about it, but to actually do
that's a joke. I feel like if I was even with my best friends, not you. No, you don't know you.
I'm insensitive enough. Is that
no?
I would truth?
I would basically say, "Oh man, I just had a bad thought,"
and that was the joke. That was the joke. But I spelled it out for her. But I mean, it's very mean spirited. But
it's Okay.
Rihanna was okay. But, I mean, I'm not promoting violence against women. That's not my point.
It's just a...
I trapped myself in controversy.
It's just a dark
It was just
joke.
It was just a faux pas.
It's in poor taste.
It was in very poor taste. Ariel, I'm sorry. I hope you can forgive me.
If you could see the fire in his eyes, you would know he means it.
No, I'm about to cry. And look what Chris Brown and Rihanna have done to me. The ghost of Donny Hathaway rise from the grave and raise me up from this horrible haze.
Hoist me up.
Hoist
Donnie.
me. What a reference to Daniel's burial.
The Christmas cast keeps going and doesn't stop.
Look. We're going to keep it going.
I like that you grabbed the mic.
Look.
Like
I got to
real
get personal.
Authoritative
I got to
figure.
get personal here. Donny Hathaway was a very interesting musician, actually. You know, I actually made a point back in the episode 9 Christmas cast.
On the universal list of Donnies, where does he rank? Above or below Osmond?
Well, I actually had a store director whose name was Donnie, and he was probably number 1 in my book.
That's a hell of a name. Donovan?
Like Ray Donovan?
Or Donald?
That bad Liev Schreiber show? What's his name?
Yeah, Ray
Donovan.
Leave.
Ray Slonaman? Ray Killaman?
Ray Solomon?
Are we doing a bit? No.
I don't know anymore.
But look.
I'm totally lost.
I talked about this Christmas years ago. It's going on 3 or 4 years. And I think I didn't broach the subject well enough. I just don't think I did. Because I think the point I tried to make was that it was a very mediocre Christmas song. And
aren't most Christmas songs mediocre though? What is your stance?
No. So many Christmas songs or, whatever.
I mean, is there one that you could just clutch at your chest and go, "Oh, this is the one"?
Well, I played it in the end of the actual podcast I just named. And it's more a hymn than a carol. It's O Come, Emmanuel. That's like my favorite. It's so solemn and grim for a piece of Christmas associated music. We Three Kings is great. I don't know. There's a few out there that are pretty good, but I feel like I belittled the significance of Donny Hathaway's music because Donny Hathaway died at 33. I think it was 1979 when he died, and let me read a little bit about this Christmas. This Christmas was actually a really important song in the history of just. I don't even know if it's insensitive to spell it out this way, but African American prevalence. And basically, this Christmas was when Donny Hathaway was creating it. He said there were no standards by African Americans. There was no true African American Christmas. A song to be proud of, like a unique vision. And so he wrote this Christmas, and it was an absolute financial failure. I think the year was 1970 or 1971, and it was just, I mentioned it on the 9th podcast, the first Christmas cast, it was a commercial failure. And it wasn't until some bizarre soul collection that was released in the Donnie. Sorry, it's just that bit should be rewound, but we're gonna leave it in because it's the Christmas cast and we're all loose
no holds barred.
Silly. But look, Donny Hathaway, there's a very dark side to this Christmas. I mean, you've heard it. It's a jubilant, brass section driven, righteous soul Christmas song. Full of black energy and greatness and strength. And I feel bad about what I did years ago. Because the point that I tried to make was that it was mediocre. And it's not. I want to backpedal. I just feel like I really fucked up bad.
So why did you...
I'm not apologizing, really. I mean, I am, but I'm not.
Why do you say this after we just, basically made fun of it for the intro?
Because I learned the story of Donny Hathaway.
Oh, so you're wanting to supplant the whole revelation of Donny Hathaway into this podcast, the meta-narrative.
Yes.
Oh, this is interesting. I really applaud you.
About 9 years after This Christmas was released and went nowhere. And Donny Hathaway wanted it to be, specifically, he wanted a standard for an African-American identity of a carol. He felt that there was nothing there, and it should have been. And it crashed and burned. It wasn't even that exciting. It was just a flop. And almost 10 years later, he was working on an album. It was supposed to be a comeback album because I think he had some great success in the mid to late 60s as a soul and kind of early R&B, forerunner. But I wanted to read the story, and this is really tough for me to explain on Christmas. I'm reading this from Wikipedia, great. Sessions for another album of duets were underway in 1979. On January 13th of that year, Hathaway began a recording session at which producers/musicians Eric Mercury and James Mtume, I wouldn't even know how to pronounce that, were present. Mercury and Mtume each reported that though Hathaway's voice sounded good, he began behaving irrationally. This is a decade after This Christmas. Seeming to be paranoid and delusional. According to the producer, Hathaway said that white people were trying to kill him and had connected his brain to a machine for the purpose of stealing his music and his sound. Given Hathaway's behavior, the producer said that he decided the recording session could not continue, so he aborted it all, and all of the musicians went home. Hours later, Hathaway was found dead on the sidewalk below the window of the 15th floor room in New York's Essex House Hotel.
What year was this?
79. Right before his album
this is in New York.
Was supposed to make a very great comeback.
I was trying to make some connection to like the Manson era paranoia.
Everyone in the business at the time thought this was going to be his great comeback. But what was not oft reported was that Donny Hathaway was a paranoid schizophrenic. And it's just a bizarre thing because the man goes down in history for that song, This Christmas. That's his magnum opus. And the point I wanted to make, when I really started even thinking about Donny Hathaway again this year, because, we've all heard about Jay's job struggles. Jay's still in a retail environment, if not on top more than ever before. Jay made it to management. Jay is the real deal. Jay is a manager. Can you believe it? He made it. But as a manager, he still has to suffer through This Christmas, just like 4.5 years ago he did. But now there's more covers than ever. And it just strengthens the point that even if it's just a good song, not even a great song, it can be ruined.
I think we. But
hey, hold on, Donnie. Calm down, Mr. Hathaway. I see the spirit trying to rise up from hell.
That's what I'm here for, baby.
What?
Did we not already just explore this completely with Disturbed's cover of Sound of Silence? You can take a great song and make it terrible no matter what. Come on, this is nothing new. This is below you. But go on.
It's tough because I know Ariel likes this song too.
What is it?
This Christmas.
Oh.
By Donny Hathaway.
Yeah.
There's a thing that should be said because it's a great point of discussion for me here. I don't know if this is the best segue, but who thought I was white? Did I give it away on the channel? Did I give it away? Was I obviously white? What do you think, Chris?
I don't know specific instances, but by her music picks, yes.
Now, she would back you up on that, by the way. She would deeply back you up, Ariel. But
you don't need to refer to her as she. She's probably listening. She's
look.
involved.
Jay's in an interracial relationship.
Oh.
I had to throw it out there.
I like how smoothly you played that.
I wanted to put it in. I wanted to get it over with. The viewers may have parted like the Red Sea. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know who's out there listening.
This is a really interesting topic because I've been thinking about it for a while now.
Dating a black girl?
Whether or not you're going to talk about this or not.
Well, I was trying to figure a way that I could that wouldn't be too overwhelming.
Well, I mean, just like on a personal level, like, would you even want to delve into this?
I do, because she's a wonderful, great influence on my life. She has improved it, just in ways that over the last few years that we've done this channel,
you're listening,
and the previous one, I have never been in a better mental state. She is an incredible support, a rock, even for me, in my darkest and weakest of times. And so it's very tough for me to lead in with a song that she likes, kind of being semi-critical, but also celebratory, but also explaining the death, which most people don't know about, of the musician responsible for it.
The glisten in his eyes is back. It's true.
It has to be Christmas.
There's like a soft, like, glaze upon his lip, too.
If only I had a white beard and I could be a teared-up Santa.
Tiered.
T.I. plays Santa Claus in Straight Outta Compton 2.
I don't know how you could say all this stuff and then come out with that just on a fucking lark. You just say this.
I also want to say this just to cover my ass. Ariel's probably... She's probably listened to about the first 5 minutes of a few podcasts and just said, all right, now this is just... It was funny for a minute, then it really was just like, this is bad. But this is the ChristmasCast. It's a whole different entity than any other recording that we do each year. And...
We don't do themed recordings is the thing.
And we also try to corral ourselves
time,
a little bit with our drinking.
Christmas time brings about a special state of mind, I feel like, between us. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite day of the year? Mine is Christmas Eve. Christmas Day I find to be quite depressing.
April 6th is my favorite day of the year.
What is that?
My anniversary date at work. I get 7 days of vacation. It's my favorite day of the year. Not even my birthday. 7 straight days I can be off, possibly to go drink with you in Texas. But, you know.
You know what? You're incredibly vain for saying that.
I'm sorry. I'll just stop talking.
I want to indulge in the full, like, the collective conscious of Christmas. And I feel like that is no better representative
the hive mind
than Christmas Eve. Christmas Day, you open your presents, you get your toys, you get your cool things, you get your neat tricks out of the way.
Wow.
You impress your friends.
Look at you.
But you say, I gotta wait 364 more days.
Oh, fuck.
Christmas Eve, you're looking forward to it the whole time. You see that? See that? It's a never-ending glisten of hope in your eye.
Look, I made this point on the first Christmas cast in 2015. It's like a struggle every year to get to Christmas Eve. And that's the main fucking event.
Journey beats the destination every time.
Hey, I love Journey.
Don't stop.
Believe me.
Why the fuck do we both say that?
I can't help it. We are unusually in sync. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what my original point was. I don't know what your point is. I don't know where we're going.
I don't have a point. I'm living on the edge.
It's Santa's drunken Christmas train. He's probably killed a few elk, just blasted through them like liquid, just destroyed.
You ever hit an animal with your car?
Let me tell you something crazy. Tell you something fucking crazy.
You hit a person?
Jay has... This is a great...
I've taken many lives.
Maybe in Minecraft. Chris is a big fan. He got it on Switch.
I'm not sure where that joke goes.
I just wanted to kind of refer to you as being sort of like someone with a bit of an autismo personality.
How dare you? Look at your fucking Lego sets. My God.
Ariel wasn't supposed to hear that. What have you done to me?
Now you know. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Why don't you total up the probable cash value? Probable cash value.
Okay, you want me to really guess?
You
want me to really guess the cash value?
There's like the Star Destroyer, the big bomber, all that. At least 150
the
plus
real
each one.
Cash value. Let's see. We got one
Han Solo.
We got the Han Solo train. We got the Spider Walker that's non-canon. We got the Death Imperial Stalker ship.
Wow,
that is canon.
So many shuttles.
The Imperial Uncle Beirut's Imperial shuttle. What? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
What's
7,
her name?
8, 9,
Beirut.
10, 11,
What was
12,
it?
13, 14.
At least
in a little mini setup.
At least $1,800 worth of Legos.
This is
Star Wars Legos.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say 17.
Don't go out of limb.
$1,739. I would say that's a
Is
safe
that after
bet.
tax or before?
Well, did you order some of this?
Of course.
Oh,
I have
2,000.
I have one on the way right
2,000,
now.
2,000.
What? You don't realize how much one day
You got
shipping
Vader's
I did.
Castle coming in.
I did so much one day shipping with Amazon.
2,000.
We can just let's round up.
2,000.
Let's just round up.
2,000.
Ariel, can you date a man like this who owns $2,000 worth of Legos
Ariel,
on display at the moment?
Hey, can you look a man in the eye that spent $2,000 on Legos in the past year and say, hello?
Hello. I'm Adele. Adele Christmas music. Do you think it exists?
Are you kidding me?
I don't know.
Are you kidding me?
I don't know.
Are you kidding
She might
me?
be like a Muslim. Okay, so we came in a little hot.
We're coming in really hot because we just took a little break,
Had to, man.
and I feel like
reflected.
we've tempered our expectations a little bit. Now we're in full swing. But look, we just got the thumbnail out of the way. And you missed it. If you weren't a
Thumbnail's good.
If you weren't a fly on the wall,
You weren't
aka
a scrub.
AKA, if you're a part of the, I'm pointing my finger at everybody.
Wow.
If you aren't a part of the RJ3K mythiverse,
Oh.
you weren't a squid on the wall.
Wow.
You missed the upside down cross upon Jay's family wall.
And as we invert the cross, upside down, the way to be together, this pagan.
It's pretty good.
I try sometimes.
It reminds me, though, of a question I've had for a while. You inverted the cross upon your family wall. What's the most trouble you've been in with your parents?
Why would you do that on a podcast like this?
Why would I not?
Why would you open that rift? I don't want to talk about that. My God, I mean, it's surely something involving weed, I'm sure.
Oh, you don't have to talk about
one
it.
time, what was the, okay, so I may have mentioned it at some point, I was younger, there was a Chuck E. Cheese incident with,
Where was the Chuck E. Cheese here? I don't remember where it was.
Oh, man.
I remember going to it, but I don't remember where it was.
I mean, to me, it's always been that place on that highway off of where I work and off of where I live. Or used to work and off of where I live. You know what I mean. But, allegedly, as my parents allege, great, I chased the mascot around to the point that they were running in fear. And I ruined everything and locked the party, like the birthday party kid, in a room.
How old were you, like 23?
Yeah, it was 3 years ago. It was an after-work party with my coworkers.
Chuck E. Cheese.
And Mario got locked in a closet.
He was stuck in the ball pit, got bitten by a snake.
Shin
Got
me, let
strangled
me
by
out!
a gigantic anaconda.
Shin me, you ready to play Far Cry 5? Me and Mario had quite an experience with Far Cry 5. Was that before or since, or in the middle of us seeing each other again?
Far Cry 5 came out right before we saw each other, I think, in May.
Well,
Right?
Mario, I guess. Mario and I have a very unusual relationship as friends, but I do think he's a great guy. But he's terrible at video games. Just absolutely abhorrent. And I bought Far Cry 5 as like what's a fun, silly co-op game that we can just have dumb fun in, like Grand Theft Auto in Montana. And that was what we went into it with. And I sent you plenty of pictures in the beginning of me, or really him loading bodies into the back of a pickup truck and posing.
Yep.
Which is exactly what Far Cry 5 honestly should be about. And I have since played through Gears of War 4, 1, 2, and we're in the middle of 3. This is the one where you know who gives his great sacrifice.
Oh, no.
Yes, and I'm eagerly awaiting Mario's reception of this event. You know, he saw Cole.
Wait, he hasn't played them before?
No. Well, I mean, we've played 4, 1, 2, 3, and that's the first time for him. I've played all of them numerous times.
He hasn't, though.
Correct. I'm his guy.
No.
I'm like his Dark Souls guy, like you were.
Well, you need him for those games.
And he does share my distaste with the ending of Far Cry 5, which, regardless of what you did, is an absolute enormous middle finger. Oh, we already talked about the fact that the game is just, you do everything to stop it from happening, but just, oh, sorry, you did everything. Oh, you still got nuked. The whole fucking area got nuked. And then in the ending, the dumbass Americana singer cult man says, you will be the first member of my new church, which in no way speaks for what your character would do, but you just have to accept it. And the game ends. That's the good ending.
All of Far Cry 5 specifically is like, they played BioShock 10 years ago and were like, let's make something cool.
A really
like
watered down version of the philosophy of that game.
Yeah. It's like they took the objectivism and was like, they were like, applied an elementary aspect to it.
I mean, I hate to even say it because honestly, the mechanics of the game are very competent. Like, it's a fun fucking shooter, and it's always full of, just like in, you know, it's like Grand Theft Auto 5 where you can always get into something. But, like, way dumber, way more ridiculous, and things are always shooting at you just out of nowhere, and just stupid things like a bear running into the middle of a road and mauling several of your enemies and then coming after you happen, and then you get to run over them with a truck and they go halfway across the screen. It's a fun game, but it's a terrible game too. But you know, speaking of Rockstar adjacent situations, what year did Grand Theft Auto 5 come out? 2013?
2013, yeah.
And the cycle on that continues to develop, and up to fucking 5 years into it.
GTA 5 is
the online
pretty much
primarily
a platform by this point. I mean, it's almost like Fortnite, where they just like incrementally add stuff to it every once in a while and update every once in a while, and it's its own thing. It's grown beyond what it was at release.
I know it goes without saying because, I mean, who am I preaching to? But, you know, anytime I see those dances, I am just filled with feelings of great misanthropy and
the amazing
seclusion
thing is that
and hatred.
You don't watch sports on a regular basis.
To see all that dancing?
Every time they cut to B-roll footage, it's some stupid kid doing the flossing thing.
Well, it's like the Crowbcat Minecon videos where no matter just where you turn, someone's dabbing.
Yeah. It's the exact same thing. And it's always like an 8 to 13-year-old child.
And I mean, you want to say they don't know any better, but at the same time, it's just also a part of the hideousness that I think Fortnite is. And, you know, I really didn't want to reveal this because it's honestly pretty tough for me to do it because I don't want to get on to him, but Daniel's apologetic nature about Fortnite really threw me for a loop.
I've played Fortnite before.
I mean, I've played it too. I fiddled with the Switch version because that thing can run on anything, including like Windows XP, apparently. But I really don't know if I'm the one at fault that should be really looking inward about the fact that I can't separate the game from the fans. This has been an ongoing thing.
Well,
but
the thing about Fortnite, though,
I don't know what to do.
Point, it's not a novel concept anymore. It's not even the game that made up the genre. It just did it really well. But it's been so long now that I feel like people have moved beyond it.
People should detect the tiredness.
Well, it's become a
cultural phenomenon.
Well, no, beyond that. It's become a like self-aware meme, basically, the way people treat it on social media.
But I feel so many they're not aware.
So many of those people that are not aware, quote unquote, are really young children.
I am in a new workplace, and there are numerous younger employees there that have to share Fortnite details with me. And it's always really, really rough because in particular there's a really nice guy at the store. He's a bagger named Garrett. He's just a real solid, lovable guy. Just one of the most lovable people I've ever met. Like a Mario that worked better. And he doesn't listen. I've tried to get him to, and he said, "She and me too long." So Mario even knows we're too long-winded and meandering. That's pretty big. But, you know, he would come up to me with his Fortnite mobile and show me his outfits and the dances and just be looking over at me like, "Look, isn't that good? Isn't that good?"
There's nothing wrong with the game. There really isn't. The game is fine.
The culture of
it's
it
the
is
cultural
wrong.
Everything
Everything like, I'm just so
but
grossed
you can say
out.
that about so many things too.
PUBG didn't do this. That was huge
Because
for a while.
Fortnite took what PUBG did and made it accessible to everybody.
Watered it down and made it disgusting.
Exactly.
Not that I'm saying PUBG is some technical masterpiece. It just happened to be rolling a ball before others.
What Fortnite is mainstream incarnate. That's what it is.
And God knows I get along with that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But speaking of my workplace, work talk begins now and ends within 2 minutes. Chris, I made it.
Keep an eye on that clock.
Chris, it's 3:46. Chris, I made it. How many years have you been watching me in this company?
4?
I finally did it. I don't know what I said before somewhere in the middle of the last podcast, but I am a manager. I've done it. I fooled people well enough to get them to say, this person is an authority figure.
Would you consider yourself a silver-tongued devil?
In getting the role?
Yeah.
Not quite. It's a complicated matter.
Would you say that you played the game? Would you say that?
I am the luckiest person you know. I was in the most right places at the most right times. When I was at the store I used to be at, there's been plenty of conversation about it. Our store director transferred one day, and he went over to a much older, more bizarre location. And soon after, Hell Manager, as you described her at one point, followed. And I, bizarrely enough, was the most senior member of the stock crew at my home store. And I had been what they call a non-traditional, non-salaried key holder for a very long time. And one day, I told you about I think the actual conversation with the last podcast was, we were getting a new store director, and she was horrifying and intense. But if it weren't for her, I would not be where I am. I was nominated for a training program for management. In my mind, only because I stuck around long enough to be the only one they thought about. I don't know if it was that or the fact that the store director likes to keep a revolving door of nominees for this training program. But I wanted to show you something. Chris,
oh, wow. A reveal.
While I get up and reveal this enormous thing that was given to a district manager of the company, well, of the district, which includes, I'm not going to say, a lot of southeastern states. Hold on.
I couldn't imagine which ones.
You're going to tell me what's on this thing that I'm presenting to you. It's huge and ridiculous.
Listen to you.
I know I said 2 minutes, but just hold on.
We're at 2 minutes exactly. And Jay keeps on his stupid highfalutin. He's tussling about. He's moving around. I don't appreciate it. We're off topic. I'm playing with Nick Fury in his Lego car. Did you get a big... I thought it was a giant check. Wow. David. Is this your own presentation that you made?
It is indeed.
Is this your resume?
This was my presentation accompanying piece. What does it say at the top?
The leadership journey.
What are the 4 talking points?
Customer service, leadership strategies, employee accountability. We could have done it better.
I was entered into a training program. Why don't you chart my journey over here, honestly?
I need to ask. You didn't take these photos, did you?
No, I got them all online. But start my journey from the bottom. It goes up to here, down, up, boom, boom. And it actually charts a journey that has been laid out in skeletal framework on the podcast.
All right. I'm going to try to relate this back to me a little bit. April of 2014. What was I doing April of 2014?
God, you know my memory is shot.
Finishing up my freshman year of college, and we were I think we must have been talking about starting an internet or a YouTube channel at this
internet
point, right?
Organization.
A cool internet team. Right? That must have been around the time because
we had the first channel.
No, not by then.
Really? By
No,
2014?
We started it in the summer of 2014.
Oh my God.
So we must have been in talks about it, right?
I don't remember, man.
I don't know how it started.
You know, my memory is more shot than anyone you know.
It's really strange how it started. Anyway.
Read the journey. From the bottom, up and down, up and down.
Overnight stock for 2
No!
years.
Start here.
I just said you were hired.
Did you include the 3 exclamation points that I included on my poster board?
Overnight stock for 2 years. That would put you at April 6, 2016. I can't... Your big fucking stupid foot is in the way.
Okay.
6 a.m. stock for 1 year. April of 27... Move your smelly foot out of the way. The leads were eliminated.
Now wait. That
Okay.
had to do with
Why do you want me to get to fucking talk about this?
Hold on.
If you
Hold
wanna
on. Christmas
butt in and say
argument.
something
No more
about this.
Christmas arguments, Chris. Bad Chris was eliminated.
Oh, I was...
You remember the drunken master? He was eliminated. That's incredible. What you don't realize is that foul, toothless bastard was the reason I am where I am today. His decimation, yes, dividing by 10, right, was why I am where I am today. Because the leads in this company, where the actual people, the forces that rule, realized if we get rid of the dairy leads, the grocery leads, the front end leads, we'll save a lot of money on giving people overtime and 40 hours without being salaried. Get rid of them. That entered me into the space which I discussed on this. I think it was, it's always like before, it's always the last podcast as I'm leaving Houston, right?
What are you talking about?
That's where I'm always saying, there's going to be a change in my job.
Oh, yeah.
It always seems to be that way.
That's like 2 years in a row, yeah.
Starting with the drunken ramblings of Bad Chris.
Yeah.
And I became a a key holder, as they call them. Some poor schmuck who's been swindled into basically acting like a manager and getting associate pay. I did that for a long time, a year. And then boom, the new store director that I mentioned in the last fucking podcast, number 39, I believe, nominated me. And the path truly began. And Chris, I never thought I'd do it. I never thought I'd have any accountability. You know me. Imagine me being accountable than watching people and managing them. Can you fathom it? Can you really see me in manager mode having to confront someone?
I actually can.
And lay down the fire and brimstone.
I actually can.
Because
I feel like
I did it today.
If you lay aside the funny business that you are so well known for and you put your mind to something, I think you can get it done. The
amazing thing is, though, shortly after the training
you
program...
say, thank you, Chris. I appreciate that.
I glaze over you. Shortly... Merry Christmas.
Yeah, really
to
festive.
Me, Donny Hathaway. It's just a Donny Hathaway theme. He's my Christmas. Anyway, so after being nominated for the training program, I entered into it, and I trained at the model store in the city. I think you know where it is, in the right side of town. And
why do you say that?
Because all model stores will always be on the right side of town.
The right side. Well, it literally is on the right side of town if you're going by that kind of direction.
I hate to say it. It's the one that makes the best money. It's the one that has their shit together the best, the most hours, the most sales, all of it. And that's where I trained for a month. And I returned to my store after that, distraught. Because in the training program, and where I cooked up this abortion that you see, that is just the most... He really didn't have much to say, so he made a bunch of bullshit. Can you tell that?
Let's see. Let's take a quick look.
He didn't have much, so he made a really fancy arts and crafts project.
What's this perfect pie chart you have going on?
The company has a pyramid for continuing the success of the company. It starts with standards of excellence, which are essentially, not being a shithead and treating the customers right. Following that is operational execution, which is essentially doing your fucking job. Customer experience is how you treat the customers and make them, it's referred to as customer retention. It's the lifeline of your store, and also how your store, the sales translate to hours by you not being a dirtbag and keeping the customers coming back. And it all eventually ends at the final point of sales growth, which contributes overall to our well-being. And, it's all stuff. Really, the training program was just a corporate example of wanting to see employees regurgitate the nonsense they teach you. Because I was at the model store for a month, and I had 4 classes on every Tuesday each month. And we had to, talk about what we learned, how things were, I don't know. It's just, I'm a manager now, Chris. Did you ever think it would truly happen? Look at me. Look what I'm doing. Look what we're doing. Are these managers at grocery stores?
I don't know about at grocery stores. I think you have the potential to do anything you want, Jay. Listen to me. Listen to me.
Sound like my parents.
Listen to me. Do I bore you?
I abhor you.
I implore you.
Wow. The rhyme game gets vicious.
The rhyme game continues to be malicious.
Look vicious from Cowboy Bebop. All I'm trying to say is it really was a leadership journey. I refer to it more as a retail journey.
What was this project for? What's the point? What are you trying to get at?
I had to make, after the training program, a way to summarize everything I learned. A lot of people did PowerPoints that were very half-baked with no backgrounds and simple 12-point Times New Roman font.
So what's the summarization? Give me your elevator pitch. Do it.
To be totally honest, I really bullshitted the whole thing and just winged it.
Terrible elevator
I
pitch.
winged it in front of the district manager of a huge, huge company. Or at least for this region. I winged it. And he bought it. And I became a manager. And the true sadness in it is that I had someone else nominated in the company against me. In our city, there are 5 of my stores left. Used to be a lot more, as you know, but it happens. And I was pitted against somebody who had 25 years experience in the company, but somehow had never been nominated for this program. And so naturally, when it came between placing us between 2 stores that had the roles that we wanted to go into, she got it. She got the good store. She got the store where everything was caught up. Everything was always perfect. There was never much work to do. I got the total opposite. The same position, the polar opposite. The store where everyone is incompetent. Everyone is a failure. And there is so much work to be done every single day, and the managers are the ones doing the most work. And so it really seemed to me like a roll of the dice, and for a while I felt like I had really been slighted and ended up with the real shit end of the stick. But what I ought to be really thankful for is I turned 26 recently. You know what that means?
Off your parents' insurance, baby.
And so we had
transitory insurance. That's awful.
We found that, and I got
years left, son.
I became full-time as soon as I exited the program, but when I became a true manager, it was solidified. And in January, I will have full-time benefits that are really actually pretty good and reasonably rated, or with reasonable rates. Work talk has gone on sickly long.
2 minutes turned into 11 minutes.
But listen.
What?
Chris, I've told you this before, and it's one of the more honest things I have to say. In all the situations where I struggle, because you can imagine a million of them, you understand that retail managers, including Jeff, go through quite a lot. I always try to think of it as, what if you were looking at it? What would you say? What would you think? I always think, what would you think?
Me personally?
Yes. I always think in these situations, because I'm at the store where everything malfunctions, the employees malfunctions, everyone is basically the worst they can possibly be, even worse than my previous store. And I just know that you would have run away a long time ago. You would have run for the fucking hills, regardless of the paycheck, the benefits, any of it. You have more sense than I do. But I have allowed myself to become a great punching bag who has walked all over and ruined and defeated and made crestfallen every single day at work. The job is more threatening and frightening and intense than I've ever felt.
So why stick with it?
There's nothing else for me at the moment. This is the most I've ever had going job-wise. And it may be tough, but I made it. It's really hard. I've been at the company for 4.5 years. Not often do people become managers by that point. It's extremely rare. And I don't even think it was because I deserved it. It just happened to fall into place for me. I was in the right place at the exact right time, especially in a sensitive situation where I'm transitioning off of parental insurance. Everything lined up. And I don't know. It's been interesting to have this juxtaposition of you being in school and me being in quote-unquote career or work this whole time. And I just really wonder where you'll end up starting out. I just don't know. Because Chris has his whole future ahead of him, and I don't know what it looks like. My future is blurry. I do wonder about yours.
It's an ominous statement to end on and hand it over.
Sobering, maybe, but that's really the concluding point I have. And all these podcasts, if you really listen to the first one all the way up to this one, it is a journey, Jay's Work Talks. As miserable and skippable as they may be.
So when you say you've made it, are you satisfied? Is that what you're saying? I'm
not. Financially, emotionally, what?
I'm totally, misunderstanding where you are. You say, I've made it. What do you mean?
More deserving people than me were never given this shot. Ever. And in this world, in this country, in this state, it is exceptionally hard to find a position such as this. In this, there are 2 positions like this in this city. I managed to get one of them. All because everything lined up at the exact right time. The person who was my predecessor in this position at my store turned out to be utterly and totally incompetent and unable to perform the job. It just so happened that as soon as I exited the training program, a month later, when I was literally at the point where I was about to submit my 2 weeks notice because of the overbearing, harsh store director that came to my store that I mentioned in the last podcast, the position was there. And I made it. And I was not the most qualified. But I got it. Against all odds. And, as an atheist, I am sometimes left squinting my eyes at, divine providence, or intervention of God. And I hate to say it, but sometimes it doesn't make sense without that. What greater Christmas moment could happen from an atheist? It's like a Christmas special ended well. The Scrooge that was the atheist came around. I'm not saying I totally commit to that, but I have more and more over the years started to believe that whether it be through poetically shitty events, as I've mentioned so often with you, or poetically shitty events with my new girlfriend, there is a divine hand at work. I do wonder sometimes. I really do. Just like today, it just so happened through half-hearted planning and whatnot that we started recording our annual ChristmasCast, the day one of our favorite groups and podcasts released formally their ChristmasCast. I don't think it was totally intentional. I don't know if it was a roll of the dice or what, but it just all happened to align, Chris. Is that the true miracle of Christmas?
I think you're, I'm going to bring it back down a second, okay?
Please.
Listen.
Take it back.
I think once you get everything you want and you start looking in the retrospective, you start to bend the narrative.
I don't know.
And that's what's happening.
I don't know, because the fact that I got here was just so many, like a complicated framework of lucky events.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about more about the ChristmasCast.
Oh! Christmas. I sneezed. Work talk has ended.
The 2 minutes turned into about 20.
What abrupt. I'm sorry, but I had to update people on my life because this is the most significant shit that has happened in my life since this podcast started. Seriously. That's big. I don't know. But Jay's work talk has concluded. He has imparted his point. And with this, I can finally destroy my presentation!
Would you do that?
I'm sick of looking at it. I see it as a novice entry point to my position that was not deserved. I want to see it burn.
Do you have that weight hanging over your head every day, though?
No.
Okay.
Only when I had to move it out of the guest bedroom where you're staying while you're in town. That's where it used to reside. I used to dump everything work-related in the guest bedroom.
Including me. This is work.
So after the great purging of Jay's work talk, it's a true specter that hangs low above the Christmas nightmare every year. Where would Chris go? Chris. Where would you go, Crisco? Where would you go?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Where do we go next?
Where do we go?
How do we go? What's that song? Is that a YouTube song? Wherever you may go.
There's a Guns N' Roses song, right? Where he says, "Where do we go now?"
Well, that's Sweet Child of Mine, right?
I don't know. Is it?
Where do we go now?
Might be.
Where do we go? That's Sweet Child of Mine. Sweet Child. Yeah. So much has happened. You have to have something, right?
I have some.
Give.
No,
Give. It's the season of giving.
Listen, it's the season of taking if you're in Nick Fury's position.
Nick Fury's Lego car that is green. Like Christmas?
We've had this strange Nick Fury Lego car as a centerpiece on this wretched table we've destroyed in the mere couple of hours.
Now, hold on. You're the one who turned over a liquor bottle by putting up the fucking... What is it? The foot recess? What is it called?
Foot recess. Rest?
The footrest of a lazy boy that we recently discovered was a lazy boy. Quite a Jeff revelation. We need to talk
about
a
lazy boy revelations.
A Jeffalation.
Lazy boy revelation could be a title.
It really could.
It really could. But now that I've brought it up, it probably can't be.
Where are you going with this?
Where am I ever going?
He's playing with Nick Fury Marvel Lego sets. I'm not sure if I want to keep talking to this guy. If you don't have places to go, I have infinite Monopoly squares to hop to. Is that how that game works? Is it like Candyland? You ever play that? It's a pretty good one. I like Chutes and Ladders a lot. You know, it's an exciting game. Fuck off.
Trivial Pursuit, good one.
Yeah, you're a real smart guy, aren't you? Real wordy pedant.
Maybe.
Trivial Pursuit bitch over here playing Drawful 3.
I try not to say the B word anymore.
What is it?
B word?
Bitch?
Yeah. Listen to you.
I thought you were going to say John Boyega.
Oh. I try not to say, I don't know. I'm trying to think of some bad artist.
Oh, I've got plenty. You want to talk about my naughty list for this year?
Sure.
I have quite a naughty list. And it segues quite well into another discussion on pop artists that's even more different than we've covered before. So, Jay has a naughty list this year from Bad Santa. Bad Santa wants to claim the souls of these fell beasts who have lived beyond their use. Who's on my naughty list this year? It's a trio. You ever heard of a certain mysterious face-obscured...
Hey, when did we do the Misanthropic Train cast where we named all the awful songs of the year?
Was that 23?
Was that 2 years ago?
I think that was 23. It was about 2 years ago. I listened to it recently. Actually, I listened to it with my girlfriend.
I can't
to
believe
try
that
to
was
express
that
to
long
her.
ago.
I realized she knew me so well, I had to show her the side of me that was most negative with my friend.
Yeah, that's pretty much nails it, yeah.
And so I burned to a disc the unedited version of it that actually included the music.
Incredible.
It's still out there, just in case everybody wanted to know. It was a real ugly moment when I had to re-edit it after I uploaded it and extract all the fucking songs I used as examples. Because apparently YouTube will allow about 2 or 3 songs to be included in your videos as long as you're not, claiming them as your own or monetizing.
That reminds me.
As long as it's not just a million conflicting labels.
You, our last podcast, my music pick of the week was I'm So Tired by Fugazi, and you played like the whole song. And it didn't get taken down or marked or anything.
I play, typically speaking, about shortly under a minute to a minute. That's it.
It was at least a minute and a half.
The song
or 2.
is 2 minutes long. I played half of it.
You played almost the whole thing. It was really impressive.
I don't know about that, Sip. I don't know, Sip. How's the quip? I got him a good one. He's just looking over there like a...
Popped me one real good one right in the left shoulder.
Listen. What do you think of Sia? Especially what I sent you recently. I really tried to complicate you.
I still really don't like her voice.
You don't like Kill and Run, even though it's like a Lost Bond theme?
It's a fine song. I just don't like her.
It's a pretty good Bond song.
I don't like
Wouldn't
her,
it be
though.
like a good Bond movie song?
Yes.
Well, Sia, this is my naughty list this year.
Oh, no.
But instead of coal, it's
a bullet to the...
being sent to a terrorist prison in a remote location for the artist. That's what I wish on them in this holiday season.
Guantanamo?
No, far worse. Far, far worse. Where they're just stripped nude and sprayed with hoses every day. And they eat out of dog bowls. And they're basically, all of their human rights are erased because of what they know they shouldn't have done. But they still did. And that is exactly why they're captured and ruined.
Mistake. That's what you're saying.
So, yes. Fully knowing, but only chasing the ugly, hideous dollar. The first song on my naughty list to receive my metaphorical coal.
Metaphorical coal. That's a good podcast.
Every Day is Christmas by Sia.
Every day is Christmas. Every day is Christmas. Every day is Christmas. With you by my side.
What do you think of Every Day is Christmas?
Is this something that plays in your grocery store?
Yes.
I knew it.
I mean, when else?
I don't know.
I mean, when else would you celebrate Christmas?
I have a masochistic streak where I listen to Hits
Christmas!
1 on Sirius XM. I feel like I would have heard it.
It must be like 15 pentatonic songs in a row. Dude, they
You know
are
what?
like...
Actually, I haven't listened to it in a while.
Pentatonics, they will come out of the gate like, we're going to produce a $800,000 music video of a cover of Jingle Bells.
Yeah.
And we are all going to have our hair as slicked back and slick as possible. We're going to look like we all came from a CW show wearing tight-fitted leather jackets. And we're going to be sick and cool, but with Christmas music. Christmas music is usually about subtlety, understatement, and cheer and love. But no, it's about us now and our slick, greased back hair.
You know what's a telltale sign you're not in a CW show?
What?
You specifically? Your hair is no longer slicked back and greased.
You shouldn't have.
I should have.
Well, let me put it this way really quickly. So as I came over to the new store, a few days was running very late and just stopped fucking with my hair. You know, I'd part it pretty close to, I don't know, what degree of my head. It was somewhere over here. I would try to get it pretty far over because I wanted to be as
Maybe
far...
like 125.
I wanted to be as far away as possible from Sean... Hannity, who his part is so close to being a butt cut that it is
Well, it's
dangerous.
like Report of the Week.
It is so close. Yeah, but I wouldn't fault Report of the Week for that because he means well.
Well, he's a mere child.
Sean Hannity intends for the dismantling of reality, but that's a podcast title right there, man.
Have we ever talked about Sean Vanity?
Oh my God, the edit you did that I just cropped out one day, the title of, and you
Did we
totally
ever talk
took it
about
home.
that?
I mean, talk about it.
I don't
talk
remember.
about it.
What were we talking about? We were talking about like post-emo bands or something?
I was thinking of, like, there was this really unusual trend of, most of them were probably heterosexual men.
Well,
but
what I think about is Jimmy Urine.
No.
I think about that name.
No.
Listen. Don't paint me with the fucking broad stroke. I think about that name.
You have a stroke.
I think about that name. I think about like Johnny Rotten.
Look.
Names like that.
You're not gonna fucking put James Uringer into this category.
Urine.
Because even though my former roommate of so many years and best friend, who I have since burned bridges with, gave me this love for this artist, I still hold on to it. I acknowledge it as being some of the trashiest and worst
I'm not
music.
talking about the music. I'm talking about the name.
Blood on the Dance Floor and Davi Vanity. That's the true origin.
Okay, there we go.
There was this trend with scene music where it was like this very effeminate, clearly androgynous-leaning bisexual man, but they would always choose in the scene like this, like their name and like some like borderline horror movie / fashion sort of like theme. And so there was there was this trend back in the day. You know, I think it started with Jessie Slaughter. Do you remember all of that?
The girl on the
yeah,
YouTube?
I think isn't that the one where it wasn't like I don't know.
It's the one where the dad comes up. It's like, I'm gonna call up cyber police.
The cyber police. Yes,
Yeah.
that's where it all started. And you know, they were basically just, you know, I think he referred to his name was like Davi Vanity. He turned out to be an extreme pedophile. His real name was Jesus Torre, and but just this idea of like these like post-hardcore and like electronic like hybrid bands who all have like scene hair, you know, like the black slightly longish hair with like the banana stripe fringe and all that.
Oh yeah.
The concept
amazingly, Aaron Hansen still has that.
A little bit.
Very much.
It's still a little more in
It's
vogue.
just really something for bad people.
But it's for people who didn't grow up, I think I want to say.
They probably like wrestling.
Or people who don't have a job but are in some fantasy world where they think they are the hero. But that's quite a statement right there. Articulated possibly better than I intended to. But it's just, I remember back when I was on MySpace in my burgeoning years, 9th and 10th grade, when I was getting into an unusual emo / scene phase, all these random people I would find on MySpace with these like little catchy like scene queen names of, you know, like so-and-so Vanity, so-and-so Slaughter, so-and-so like Massacre.
Johnny Smokes Cool.
Yeah, but they were all just like posing and really androgynous and hot, and it was just like, so to imagine a Fox News host and personality being one of those is quite possibly one of the best pairings
It's also
you can imagine.
like, it's also an in-joke because of Vanity and Hannity.
Exactly.
It's too perfect.
And you really had to be a kind of someone either involved or a fan of that kind of thing to understand it.
I put the for the Sean Vanity edit I made, I gave him the scene hair and I gave him a cool decal on his phone, which was
selfie,
L.
I think too.
It was L from Death Note.
Which, alarmingly enough,
and I remember specifically, I hadn't seen it by then, so we might have talked about this already, because you were surprised that I put that on there.
Alarmingly enough, back in around 2008 and 2009, when Death Note was at its peak, Hot Topic adopted a lot of anime stuff.
I hate that shit, man, from Hot Topic.
And it just so happened that Death Note was dark enough and a sort of very like fashionable anime that a lot of emo and scene people kind of applied it to themselves, and they saw L, who had sort of the similar hairstyle, as being like this idol.
Yeah. It's weird what Hot Topic will latch on to.
I've been so disconnected to it for years.
Well, like one of the things that they latch on to, like God knows how many, they have like Wu-Tang Clan shirts and Biggie Smalls shirts.
But also like a post-hardcore like long flippy hairband right next to it.
It's bizarre. Yeah, I don't understand what their like motive is.
Well, the scene died, but they continued to Frankenstein it along with like Spencer's mentalities.
So Hot Topic is just like the Spencers, but of a bygone era that
They're
everyone
clinging.
likes to harken
They're
back
clinging
to.
really hard, just as the band.
So every disaffected youth walks in there and it's like, "Oh, it's my store."
well, really, I don't know
That's
what
what I
don't
feel
know
like.
what they could think. I really don't.
I think that's it.
Because I remember when
think
I
it's it.
thought I was so enamored with like the culture of androgyny and the tightness and the is he gay, is he not? Which I'm an absolute heterosexual.
Oh yeah.
I just had to clarify that. But at that point, it was just like the idea of like, and I think even my former best friend and roommate also kind of had that sentiment. Like the idea of is he not was very tantalizing in our minds.
Didn't he think that about me?
You really wanted to bring that up?
I don't even care if we bring it up. I think it's just funny.
no, I mean, I don't. The reason I don't like you bringing that up is it's mostly about him,
Oh, okay.
but he wanted everyone to be gay. To this day,
That's what yeah.
where I observe his online posts, there is an excitement expressed with homosexuality in such things as fan-related things, anime AMVs, like shipping. I hope you know what that is. All that stuff. It excited him to no end, which I found to be extremely shallow when I was trying to look at the core story of it all. And it was one of many of the pillars or steps as to why we grew apart, you know? So, with all this bad discussion in mind, I have to continue down my naughty list. And you ever heard of somebody named Jason Mraz?
He's the Hawaiian guy, right?
Isn't that Jorge Garcia from Lost?
No.
The big dude?
Maybe.
The successor to Israel Kamakawiwa
There
Ol.
are probably more than one person from Hawaii.
Well, this is another Christmas tune.
He did the song "I'm Yours," right?
I don't know anything he's done.
Then why even ask me?
Except this.
Okay.
I know this song. Also, really take in this Sia image. Isn't she funny with that little lemon suck face? Isn't that funny? Isn't she cute and unique and original?
You type in Jason Mraz.
Cancer research?
No.
Let's see.
I bet it's "I'm Yours."
Have It All, I'm Yours second.
Yep.
But I'm Yours has 423 million views 10 years ago, 17 million views on the first result 7 months ago. Well, regardless, I remember formative years of like being young and being in middle school and getting an iPod for the first time, and there were all these like Nelly Furtados. You remember all that? And all these little one-hit wonders that like the most unfortunate company I can think of, Apple. Sorry, no offense.
Like how I'm a real
You're a
proponent of
defender
Apple.
at points about anti-Android stuff.
I've never once said anything anti-Android.
I own the shirt for a reason, not just for you, but for all. You remember the one
try
where
to make these
the Android
like, great
robot is
internal-
taking a bite out of the Apple logo? Pretty good.
You really try to like fester these
Look,
anti.
I hate Apple anything, and even when you own an Apple product, I am still like, you're a spy. You're a filthy fuck.
You try to make these awful conflicts when there is nothing there.
I just hate Apple so much that I want there to be conflict with people that even own them and don't have anything to say about
which is the
products.
majority of the people that own a phone.
I don't buy that. What about our delightful president? An Android user.
I don't think so.
He is?
I don't care.
Well, regardless, Jason Mraz, to me, he was like the Nelly Furtado or like the Grills. Who did that? Let me see your grill. There was like a 2007 era song.
I know what you're talking about. Part of the bling rap era.
Nelly. And there
That was
all
let me
these
see a grill. Rob the jewelry store. Let me tell them make me a grill.
Yeah.
That was Nelly?
Yeah, we like had to, out of obligation, buy these songs in 7th grade, or at least I felt like. I remember there was...
It's the bling rap era.
Yeah. There was an art class I took where everyone had just gotten an iPod for the first time. And iPods were so hot. Like the iPod Nano had just come out. So it had been some years since like the nasty like Game Boy Classic looking green screen iPod had come out. And Jason Mraz was sort of like in that grouping. So to still hear his music echoing the haunting chambers of a grocery store is very alarming and distasteful.
Well, you know, like Sia's like 40 plus, right?
And so is Jason Mraz. Like, I don't know why they're still having success. But Jason Mraz has a cover of Winter Wonderland that I wanted to entertain you with. And before I start this, I wanted to say that in this song, the way he sings, and he adds a line, there is no babe in Winter Wonderland, the original song. There is no babe. He adds a babe. It's as if there was like an annoying, and I'm not saying this to reference a homosexual. I'm not asserting in any way that Jason Mraz is a homosexual. Okay. But if you can imagine a fairy, a small, minuscule Tinkerbell figure, singing into your ear and zapping around between your ears to fuck with you, this would be the Christmas song that he would be singing, like, hey, fuck you, hey, fuck you, hey, fuck you, hey, fuck you. This is Winter Wonderland by Jason Mraz.
Gone away is the bluebird, but here to stay, stay, stay is a new bird. Later on, we'll conspire as we dream by the fire, babe.
Had you not known that this was a male singer, would you have known it was a male singer?
Jason Mraz, well, I would have recognized him. First of all, he had a really big hit called I'm Yours back in like the late 2000s. He did. I recognize that voice. He's a Hawaiian chap.
Why would you be playing or doing a cover of a Christmas song where you're supposed to be at the most humble and offering of
That's not a part of their personality.
Why would
you
you
not
add,
understand that?
Why
it's
would
the
you
same
add
thing with
a
Chris
lyric?
Brown. What part of Chris Brown screams?
Christmas.
What part of these artists you've pointed out say, I'm gonna put this before myself?
Why would he?
No.
Why
would you expect anything?
Why would he add a babe to the lyrics?
Because he wants to make it his
As
own.
we sing by the fire, babe. Like what? Who is this?
Because he wants to
character?
infringe on public domain and make it his own. That's
What
why.
is the annoying little character he's playing with? There's like a little zipping around pixie between your ears. As we sing by the fire, babe.
Because it's cute, quirky, and novel, and people like it.
I hate it. My last. Oh, that's all I had.
That was your grand naughty
Yeah,
list.
that's
Two
all,
songs.
I was also going to bring in like Chris Brown's cover of This Christmas by Donny Hathaway being the most ridiculous roller coaster of a note set. Just like every line in the song that's originally 2 or 3 syllables is turned into about 16 notes. Just can you just fuck off and make a Christmas song?
Or just
Get over your
don't-
fucking self.
No way.
Like just why do you have to be a douche about like the most honest music it should be? Are we too traditional? What is it? What is it? Like, I mean, as it's been acknowledged, I'm not exactly...
I think it's in the same realm as the national anthem. Like I was saying, it's like it's public domain, and it should just you shouldn't make it your own. Like there's like
it's supposed to be selfless.
there's like a respectful aspect you're missing of it.
I just these pop stars, man. Like it is just. I was having a discussion with another employee recently about, you know, the death of hip hop being A, the point where the hip hop band or group died, and B, where it became about the singular individual.
Yeah,
At the forefront, and pop music was always like that.
It did happen. Like it did.
I think
happen.
pop music killed hip hop. I think the sentimentalities of pop music, where the focus is on the individual,
I think whatever
killed it.
Whatever genre or movement ushered in the like materialistic point of view killed hip hop, because that is all it is now.
Was it Biggie? Was it Tupac? Were those the first
Okay.
big names of singular individuals that murdered hip hop in the end?
Biggie was a materialistic like or a pioneer in that way, but he was also an incredible artist. And I feel like people took what he was saying and morphed it into something awful.
I did.
Because you like Biggie even, right?
I do, in a very, like, I get what this is way, but, you know,
And
it's
that's
dated,
what-
and
that's what
rough around the edges.
That's
and
what Art was saying. Like, we were talking about Tupac and how I don't like him either. And you
Talk
don't-
about it. I think I'm the fucking second coming of Christ.
I've always said Tupac is a holier-than-thou individual.
He is so wickedly, ridiculously self-important.
Art countered with, well, I said, like, I put Biggie above Tupac in any situation. And
Same, because he's just more down to earth.
Art's counter argument was, but he ushered in the materialistic age of rap.
Did Tupac not?
I don't know. I mean, yeah.
Tupac just did it on a different coastline. I mean, I need to talk to Art. Give me his number right now. We're gonna call him. No, I'd wake him up at almost 5 a.m. in the morning. Fuck you, Art. Tell me.
Tupac did the same thing in an important way, a self-important way.
To me, Tupac kind of reminds me of the John Lennon, while Paul McCartney is Biggie.
Sure, yes.
Paul McCartney is
get
Biggie.
What you're going for. Sure.
Paul McCartney is Biggie could be it, but I just speaking of
we're in the mumble rap era.
Ugh. Speaking of self-absorbed fucking pop musicians, I wanted to talk about something that's really been weighing on my conscience lately. So it was a big deal, and it's already been acknowledged on the RJ3K Twitter, but recently, Nick Jonas got married.
See, this is crazy to me.
I have a point to make with this. I know, why even bring them up?
Right. This is like a level of like celebrity worship I'm so far away from. I'm amazed that you even know about this. The only reason I know about Nick Jonas being married is because of you.
Look.
How do you feel about that?
Look.
You're
Look.
part of the media.
Stop it.
You're part of your TMZ.
No. Look. It is such a complicated issue for me. So Nick Jonas.
How is Nick Jonas a complicated issue for you?
Hold on. It feeds into a lot of shit, and your eyes are gonna be bulging out of your fucking sockets in a minute.
They always are.
Stop playing with Nick Fury.
Always.
While we talk about Nick Jonas. Dueling Nicks. I think I've said that before, actually. Unfortunately, it's been uttered on the podcast before. Possibly on the Epic of Nick, which is one of the most forbidden podcasts we have publicly. It's
not my favorite.
It's a rough one. Is that 13? Don't look at it. Well, let's to really begin this discussion, and I don't want it to drag on for too long because we're dragging. I am the dragon. But to me, my first exposure to the Jonas Brothers, it
has to be through Disney, right?
They were a Disney fabricated group.
But you know what's so are a lot of like popular artists right now.
But
Miley Cyrus and Ariana Grande were both Disney's people, right?
But there weren't these it's an iteration of a boy band concept. Except
a completely fabricated one.
The weirdness of the Jonas Brothers was,
if only the Naked Brothers band had taken off.
It did in the form of Death Note, the live-action American movie. Nate Turner, a real cool guy, but is that his name? I don't know. But
Light Yagami, Turner, you mean?
They fucked it up. It's Nate River was the name of what was the fucking L ripoff that was lame? Near.
I thought you liked him.
Nate Turner. No, I mean, I just didn't hate them as much. I'm not gonna get into Death Note again. But I really have a big issue with the public. It's never been stated before.
Yeah, wow.
But just the idea that the public can be duped and drawn along like a fucking fishing line being reeled in to these dumbass corporate propped up figures.
Is that not the
this is great! This is great!
That's the entire premise of the mainstream.
It's hard to
argue. That's why people go against it.
It's hard to argue it too because I'm a huge Beatles fan. And in the beginning, it's exactly the same thing, but almost 60, 50 years ago? I feel like after a certain point, the fucking seams around the edges are so obvious even to the most knuckle-dragging, drooling dopes in the world. I really do. And when the Jonas Brothers came along, and what was that, 2006, 2007?
I don't know.
It was even a little young for you.
But I feel the exact same way about Ryan Reynolds and like Justin Bieber.
No.
It's like I thought
Justin Bieber makes sense.
I thought
Justin Bieber fits into that, but not Ryan Reynolds.
I thought we all agreed as like 13-year-olds
This is passé.
that this guy is a joke.
This is passé.
But people are all about him now.
But to me, this is a world obsessed with glamour, fame, sexuality, and glory. But the dumbass, cross-eyed Jonas Brothers came along. And they were all wearing Disney-sponsored purity rings.
I wish we had RJ3K
Look.
I wish we could take him off at the
South
same time.
South Park, you know, I don't often sing the praises of South Park, but they made a really great episode based on the Jonas Brothers and Disney, where like Mickey Mouse turned out to be this like primeval like demon that existed from the beginning of time, that in every iteration of a century had to manifest itself in some way that could not be identified by the previous fucking century. And so for the 20th century, it was Mickey Mouse.
It's like a Final Fantasy plot.
And
awesome.
South Park like plot lines are so convoluted and outrageous. They really, people don't give them enough credit. But they did an episode where the Jonas Brothers were like involved in this satanic plot where they were all wearing like purity rings to bring like people closer to the fucking Satan.
This is what I'm talking about when I say I like hearing about South Park more than I like watching it.
Some of it's really great.
Some of this is insane.
Really great. But essentially, by the end of the episode, the Jonas Brothers are like on stage, and like all these like 12-year-old girls are twerking and exposing their like their genitalia and screaming at the top of their lungs. And Mickey Mouse is just a gigantic, like, demonic, like, force in the sky. Like a fucking massive blimp that is just floating above them going, I see all, I consume all. And it's just so good. But the purity rings were very much so something. And regardless of what most people will probably argue, where it was the manager of the Jonas Brothers. It was the corporate sponsor that made them wear the purity rings. I still stand by the fact that regardless of being offered $1 million to wear a purity ring and go on stage, if you did it,
oh come on,
you are garbage and should be shot and killed.
You wouldn't do that for $1 million?
Fuck that.
You're kidding me.
I would rather be nothing.
You're kidding.
Fuck
I don't believe that at all.
I think that whole fine line of, well, you'd accept the money. Come on, man. Ensure your family's financial future for generations. Fuck you.
You wouldn't.
No. Fuck that.
Let me say my piece before you reply. If you had a manager that said, "Hey, put on this ring, go on stage, and I'll give you $1 million."
But it would be like, if you wear this ring at all times in your uniform, you will have a baboon ass hanging out of your pants.
That is not the same.
It is the same.
No.
Fucking thing. They're garbage, empty-souled fucking corporate tools. They are nothing. They're
Do you really
empty
put this much stock into a purity ring?
I put this much stock into pop musicians. This is what I wanted to get into. I had a conversation with my girlfriend.
I agree. I think it's terrible.
Stop.
I think they're awful people.
I had this conversation with Ariel. I hope she's listening to this and understanding me.
I just don't believe that you want to accept $1 million.
Stop it.
I don't believe that for a second.
Stop it. My entire existence has been predicated upon the idea of not selling out. Everything with me in music and my taste is almost based on obscurity, not for the sake of being a contrarian or a hipster, but for the sake of the purity of the music. I have quoted this for years, where artistry meets music, and where the music dies. Or no, not artistry,
Just like
but
the Dave
where
Chappelle
money,
inside the actor studio.
Money meets artistry, or music
Industry
is where
meets
it
artistry.
dies. It's the simple fact.
That, right?
Yes. And his disappearance to Africa just to be not seen by anyone else. To walk down the street as if no one could know him. Refreshing, amazing. I understand it with Chappelle. But when I look at these pop musicians, the ones who have had all the success they could need, you know? Like, for example, an Adele or a Sia or a Katy Perry or whatever, you have enough money for probably 15 generations of your family to be unemployed and not working. The idea that you continue to pursue disgusting financial pursuits where you sell out further, if that's even possible, is profoundly disturbing to me. And just Nick Jonas, for example, that's where this all started. This is a sniveling, cross-eyed dimwit who released a song about bacon.
Oh shit, throw some bacon on it.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, it has been brought up on this podcast numerous times, but just really let that sink in. Throw some bacon on it. He is a little diminutive piece of trash who happened to coast in front of a studio executive who propped him up unnaturally into the point that somehow... Is that
not the entire essence of pop music?
But look at Justin Timberlake. Justin Timberlake is handsome. He can dance. He's alluring. What is fucking Nick Jonas with his former career of Purity Rings and the Opal Ring Crusade? What is that? How is that accepted? Even by dim-witted fucking drooling dope 11-year-old girls. Who is looking out for fucking Jonas Brothers music in 2018 when Cardi B, Offset, all these other new dumbass, somehow worse bands exists? That was not a good delivery. That was not a good point to end on. My point, okay, look. Nick Jonas, with all that in mind, I think, well, Jay, he's the most successful guy you've ever seen in the 21st century. He's got all this money. Clearly, he's an obvious success, so everything you're arguing against is false. I don't buy any of that. Fuck all of you, you fucking immediate, echoing fucking ideas dimwits. You have no original thoughts, not to save your fucking life. You've heard every Forbes article. You have nothing to contribute to this conversation. Priyanka Chopra, who is, I think, some sort of Indian Bollywood singer, film producer, philanthropist, similar to what I guess Nick Jonas is in the States. They're married. And there was an excessive, unbelievable amount of lead up and build up and celebration about their marriage. And I charted it in my own way, on RJ3K Twitter.
This is the kind of thing that we go to Twitter moments, screenshot, and send to each other.
Yeah, just to be like, look how stupid people are.
Why? Like, who cares? I don't understand that about celebrity culture. Like, how could you be so wrapped up in someone else's, like, well, anything? I don't understand that. I will never understand celebrity worship.
Something really unfortunate happened. Something extremely unfortunate happened, and it's one of the finest tight ropes I will ever walk on this channel. That's a very stirring thing, to be totally honest, because we've walked plenty of them. You've seen it. But, so, when everything started leading up, I don't care how their romance allegedly blossomed. I don't care. Whatever. They're dumbass pop celebrities. They should be treated with the ultimate disregard by anyone with a fucking brain. But in the lead up to it, I saw something. And this is a news article from, I guess, CBS News, whatever. An article about Priyanka Chopra. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. And Nick Jonas, published online by The Cut earlier this week, has been removed by the publication's editors after many readers deemed it racist and sexist. The Cut, a style and culture section of New York Magazine, apologized for its poor judgment in publishing the piece. The article, entitled, "Is Priyanka Chopra and Nick Jonas' Love for Real?" was posted on Tuesday, the same day Chopra and Jonas shared the official photos from their wedding. First of all, who cares? Who fucking cares about their photos? This is not some special or sensitive thing where everyone in the public eye should be, oh, look at the darlings. Look at them.
You know they have special reporters for like what the like Duchess of whatever wears, whoever's married to Prince Harry or whatever, right?
Yeah. But to me,
same thing. It's the same thing. It's like, why?
Everything about these individuals' relationship is a power play to infuse money and secure familial generations of wealth. So it's just empty.
Yes,
there
totally
is no
dishonest.
real love. There is none. But that's exactly why the people publishing this article were called out. The writer of the article in question suggested that the sentiments expressed, such as, "And Forever Starts Now," written by Jonas, and "The Happiest Day of His Life," quoted, were phony. Smith referred to Chopra as a global scam artist and argued that the elaborate wedding was so over the top that the love between the bride and groom must have been a stunt as well. This was an enormous controversy. This was an enormous controversy where people from all sides were dipping in to defend these fake, disgusting human beings whose entire relationship is based on doubling our money from opposite countries. That is, I mean, I'm not going to say they probably don't have feelings for each other or whatever, but just the idea that anyone who finally stepped out and made a claim that this was phony and bullshit was called sexist and racist.
This is why I try to avoid things like this on Twitter and Facebook, because I really think it does a number on my mental health. I really genuinely do. Do you not feel the same way? Like, I feel like this is the kind of thing that it's best unmentioned. I don't want to think about it.
I feel really strongly in particular about this because I have charted the journey of the Jonas Brothers. An entire life predicated on shallowness and emptiness. The idea that when someone steps out and calls that out, the mere fact that the wife in question is an Indian star, it's racist. Oh, it's such. I am an extreme left-leaning liberal.
Is that not like the implied attitude of this like current time though? Like,
but
why give it even the attention?
To me, the Jonas Brothers, everything revolving around those men should be the most transparent and obvious farce in music history. Yet people treat them with this reverence, like, oh, you can't talk bad about the Jonas guy and the Indian Queen. No, you can't talk bad. Who are you? What do you not see?
They are nothing.
This is emptiness. But
this is what I'm talking about. This is why I look at stuff on Facebook and Twitter and I think I should probably just I should probably just off myself because this is not the world I want to live in.
I felt so guilty though.
You look at this stuff and you think, how are people like this?
I saw the same backlash against this article from The Cut. I see neo-Nazis at rallies getting news coverage over. Or far-right extreme groups getting exposure about, or Brexit people, or nationalist people. This is the most obvious farce that people should be able to see through. A motherfucker who sings a hit song saying, throw some bacon on it, is being held up by civil rights groups. Because, whatever.
It's not the most obvious.
It is insane that anyone would defend these slimy, disgusting people. Race has nothing to do with it. Race, country of origin, it has nothing to do with it. Everyone in either placement of either fan base, I'm sure they both have it, should see the transparency of this disgusting celebrity romance and say, oh, it's not the People magazine rag. But they're defending them when this person called it out in The Cut. What the fuck is going on? What the absolute fuck in the most connected digital age that we have ever seen. Why is this how the narrative was skewed? What happened? It is a fucking dumbass, worthless pop star from one country and the same thing from another country. Why are we so fucking blind? What the fuck?
Money. Obviously.
But when it comes into politics and the assertion of racism, when that point of race was never even fucking made, it just so happened that it was an Indian heiress, princess. What the fuck is happening? This is something that really, for the first time in this podcast in a long time, I'm genuinely, absolutely repulsed by. These are empty, worthless, shallow people. And it figures into something that I talked about with Ariel, where I think people's music can be bad enough that they are not even human anymore. They have no rights in reality as people.
I've said that about people that just like the popular music at the time. I think you have no music taste. Therefore, I think you have like an entire portion of your humanity missing.
When you allow yourself to be a full, empty tool for money generating, you don't deserve a defense. I think that much that's a reasonable assertion. Yet no one was arguing it online. No one I could see. It was just, well, she's an Indian princess and he's an amazing singer. What are we doing?
This is why I don't do what you do and delve deep into this stuff.
But I have loathed.
It would fucking kill me.
I have loathed Nick Jonas so deeply for so many years. Oh, well, Jay, you're just jealous of his success. Fuck you and your easy, immediate, knee-jerk point. Fuck you. It has nothing to do with the fact I don't want that money. I'm happy with my shitty fucking misery job. I don't want any of that. I would never accept this money if it meant absolutely selling my soul for fame, glory, and nonsense, and being the most empty People magazine cover dopes. And when I see all these people, it was one thing when it was the royal wedding. What was it? The British wedding.
Yeah.
That was one thing. That's of historical significance.
Yeah, I guess. Sure.
It is. But these
not really.
are worthless, non-contributing members to society of two countries. It has nothing to do with anything. It's like history took a wrong turn and a wrong page that it wasn't supposed to go to. And I just think so often these pop stars, I can only represent them as being Photoshop edits. And I did one for RJ3K, where I didn't even touch the Indian princess. I only touched Nick Jonas, and he threw some bacon on it. Purity ring, dumbass, Jonas Brothers, Mickey Mouse, garbage.
You don't fall into the hyper-liberal camp that you claim to be in,
Because I don't care.
I'm just telling you.
Care. I mean, at points I do, but when it comes to just...
No, you really don't, though.
Knee-jerk reactions for furthering, a minority is involved.
That's what I'm talking about. You don't fall into the camp like you think you do.
This person shot 30 people. I'm not going to defend them because they're whatever race.
Tupac's mom?
Whatever. I don't even know about that. But it's just... It should be so transparent that Nick Jonas is scum of the fucking earth that should be disposed of by 13-year-old girls by 15. Yet people defend them like they're righteous royal blood. Like, your empire is built on Mickey Mouse and throw some bacon on it. Fuck you. What are you doing? Your entire life is a nothingness and shallowness. I don't care if you're a real person outside of I'm just trying to make money. It's just a job. What you have done and what you represent makes you less than human. That is my concluding statement. Anything.
I've said my piece on this. I just don't think it deserves the amount of criticism you've given it.
No one should defend figures like this.
I don't think you should get this wrapped up in it.
Nick Jonas,
I think you're fighting a losing war.
Look at Nick Jonas's face, and if you don't get it, you're already lost.
I get it, but you're fighting a losing war. You will never overcome what you're fighting against.
That's why, as I get older,
This is why I don't do this. This is why I don't do this. I've done this enough to the point where I go, I can't
That
do
is
it.
why-
I can't do it. I can't do it. I might as well
Look.
just either delete my Facebook or fucking kill myself because I cannot look at this anymore.
Thank you. But that is exactly why, as I age, I will not become like my father, but I will pull away from society in the same way that he did. I will still hold the same liberal values, but I cannot, like, people will disgust me so far that I have to get out. Like, I'm so disgusted by the sheep-like nature of people. And I know, ooh, that's quite a Fight Club. I discovered this movie at 15 sentiment. Oh, capitalism is big and empty. But seriously,
You're taking my line.
even with Sia and fucking Katy Perry and Justin Timberlake, all this, Nick Jonas is the absolute bottom rung. The absolute. And I'm sorry, but if you fall in love with that dim-witted fucking piece of trash, you are the same. You are nothing. That is it. That's all I have to say. I'm done.
Merry Christmas.
We're going to get back into Christmas stuff in a moment. This is the final break before we come back. We're going to get into music picks. We're going to get into concluding statements. And I just hope I made my point clear in the most politically correct way that I could. It has nothing to do with race.
You don't understand political correctness.
Only empty money pursuits. If that is your primary thing, you are less than human. Whew, what a wind down. I had to step out because, I don't want to say anything out of line as an outspoken liberal. And you made the great point about Bill Maher,
Same reason liberals hate him, because he's outspoken enough to call out some of their bullshit.
To call out the money-making industry of it.
Yeah.
And I just want to say it one more time and cement it. It's not race or people. It's no one involved. It's just the pursuit of money to be money. That's all it is. If you can't identify how shallow and empty everything that these aforementioned people are built upon, then it's just you have no stake in this. And I don't know. We've just got to take a sharp turn and get off of it. And
Please.
I can't help it, but in doing so, Chris, when did you play Bloodborne for the first time?
Oh, Bloodborne for the first time. Let me tell you a little tale.
How did it happen? Like, you had played Dark Souls 1 by this point, correct?
I was a big Dark
About
Souls
2
fan.
or 3. Well,
I
2
got
at least.
Well, I got Demon Souls first of all.
Ah, wow.
The day it came out.
How did you know about it? Like, what led you to getting this game?
It was either Game Informer or IGN back in the day. Just me being naive and researching things like, what's a cool game that's coming out? Oh, let me look at this video. Demon Souls. Oh, cool. Looks like knights fighting people with cool armor. Hey, I'm in. I need a PS3 game. So basically, that was my idea.
In your examinations of these, was the generic difficulty a thing?
Difficulty was not a part of it.
So you knew. That's really interesting, because everyone wants to make the claim that the basis of this series is difficulty. You knew nothing about it going in, but you were still attracted to it.
Demon Souls was interesting because I had just gotten a PS3, and it looked like a cool, unique, medieval
right?
game. Huh?
09?
Yeah, Demon Souls came out in October of 09. I got that game on release date.
How'd you do it? You were in school. What did you do?
I just went with my mom to the mall.
She was like, Mom, look, I know I haven't done many chores lately. This is what I need. I need to cleave demons and wretchedness and sticky white stuff.
I don't remember what the circumstance was.
That was a thing. And reiterate the sticky white stuff.
I know. The sticky white stuff, it was an item you could rub on your sword to become enchanted. Magical.
And everybody took it the wrong way. And just, how it goes.
We don't need to go into
chest
that,
ahead.
All right. Part of the selling point also was the idea of co-op, which
we've been chasing that for years. Now
Actually,
with Daniel trying to play Destiny 2 and
I'm not
it's
sure
backfiring.
You do know about the co-op in Dark Souls and Demon Souls. Do you?
What do you mean?
The idea of co-op to me really sold it because me and our friend Jeremy were going to get this game at the same time and play through it together.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
But the thing about Demon's Souls and Dark Souls at the time when they were released originally was they aren't meant to be co-op games. Rather, you can put your sign down and summon a random person that's putting their sign down. It's not supposed to be like coordinated co-op. It was never supposed to be that.
Impromptu.
It was never supposed to be meet up with your friends. It was supposed to be happenstance. It was always supposed to be
spurious.
That. Something that they changed with the remaster of Dark Souls where you can make passwords. That is not in the original game. So what, Jeremy, I don't think ever got Demon's Souls. But anyway, the way that we skirted around that, Addison and I, another friend, is we would put our signs down, the thing that you use to summon people. We put them down in really obscure locations and call each other on the phone because Demon's Souls and Dark Souls had no voice chat at the time. So we put them in really strange places and summon each other and talk on the phone. It was never supposed to be an active co-op thing. It was always supposed to be like you run across each other. But that was one of the selling points to me buying Demon's Souls originally. It was just, it's co-op. Cool. We can play this game together with friends. So when I got that game and dove into it for the first time, I was really taken aback by how unwelcoming it was.
Oh, man. Hey,
Actually,
let me stop you for a second. I just wanted to point out that Addison and I happened to... I met him years ago at a gathring at your home.
Yeah.
Your former home.
17th birthday party or something.
And, I thought he was a cool guy. And that was it. I think I may have added him on Facebook or something. I don't know. And after that, I never heard from him. And then just within the past 2 months, we were at a certain trendy restaurant. And...
Well, we saw The Last Jedi together also. Last Christmas.
Whoa.
You don't remember that?
My memory is just great. Anyway.
We did, though.
My memory is just great, guys. That's another reason even though we're drinking for this night, it has to happen. I've largely quit drinking for my mind. But me and Ariel went there for the first time. It was one of our first public dates out, because the actual beginning of this relationship was very unusual because we were very nervous because there were a lot of things tied in with us being public. A lot of unusual work things and worries about whatever. And we started finally just going out and saying, fuck it. And like that night, it was one of the first nights I took her out. She got all dressed up and dolled up. It was just wonderful, a wonderful, fun night, having to shout in the middle of that restaurant where everyone is just screaming at all times and you have to scream to hear each other. And lo and behold, out of the corner of my eye, I see Addison come in with a group of friends. And they came to the front of the restaurant and then were seated around and outside. So they didn't cut through the restaurant to pass us. And so I was eyeballing him to the left and seeing him and going, I wonder if he's going to come over. Should I get up? Should I get up and introduce myself? Or am I just going to focus on my date here? I was just like, as much as I should get up and say something to the guy, it's just been so long, I don't know if it would just be unusual or weird. And then, after we ate, he came in. He came back through the restaurant on the way out and was just the nicest fucking guy. And we spoke for a minute, shouting, because obviously we were still in the restaurant, about Dark Souls, and we should play it, and such and such, and Chris, and this, and I don't know what he's up to.
I'm always a topic of conversation.
And what's Chris been up to? We haven't been able to get him to play such and such game with each other, or he needs to get a Switch, and this and that.
It's funny you mentioned shouting at each other and making people around you uncomfortable, because Addison and I recently, I think yesterday, played a lot of Dr. Mario together. And discovered the amazing, incredible, second to none soundtrack it has.
Wow.
And
never even would have considered it.
I mentioned something about going to the very same restaurant you're talking about tomorrow. Him and you bring your JBL cool speaker and us playing the Dr. Mario soundtrack over it.
Outside, you mean?
Making everyone very uncomfortable.
We may have to do it.
To which I said,
Ariel, thank you for the
to
speaker,
which I
by the way.
said, speak or not, we will make everyone uncomfortable regardless.
Ooh, that's good.
It is true. It is true. You know it's true.
What a profound Christmas terrorism message.
That's a good title.
A profound Christmas terrorism message.
PTCM.
Oh my god. But I don't know. Like, it was really flattering the way.
It's always startling when I had to be or talking to people with like mindsets. It's always startling.
Well, it was really weird because it was really my first date with Ariel. And, she and I work so much, it's extremely rare that we can have going out dates.
I remember you saying something like, if there was anyone I could have known that I could have seen right now, this is the perfect person.
Yeah. It was just, he was so nice. And he introduced himself to Ariel. He was just such a gentleman.
It made you look good.
He was great. And I also, and now this may be making a bold step, but after he walked out, I turned back to Ariel, who admittedly comes from a background very different from my own, and said, see, there's more people like me out there.
And she said, ooh, Jay's a real cool guy.
Nah, yeah, sure in her mind, I hope. But I don't know, she probably giggled about it and we continued on our way. But I don't know. I really do feel bad about the whole thing because ever since then, Addison has been trying to get together with me. And he's always free on weekends and stuff, usually. But I almost work every single weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Almost every. I sure as hell am working it this week. And, it's hard and doesn't work out. And so with the combination of, new full-time job and new full-time girl. With the combination of new full-time job and having a girlfriend that I have not really had since college in 2014, it's hard to make time for people. It really is. And so I'm very thrilled that we have this weird opportunity tomorrow for us all to get together. And I'm probably going to, make you go see Ariel, sadly, in her workplace, which is not the most glorious place for her to see you. She probably would really prefer you didn't.
Oh, I care.
But I just want you to be able to shake her hand.
I hope you've told her about my personality
I've
enough
told
to
you
say
so much.
She doesn't need to care what I think.
I've basically told her that in many ways, even though it's not true, we are carbon copies as far as taste and views go. And she's accepted it. And so, it's really funny actually. She, it's so strange. We've been doing this in this format for so long and being here's my music pick. And this is this obscure band I found. And look at this. And I introduced her to some of the music just absolutely knowing she probably had never heard anything like it. And the one thing she took the most issue with of all I selected, it wasn't, I don't know, but
did she like my music picks? Or did you even bother to show her? You're real.
They're so similar in some ways.
Oh,
they're
God
so
damn
similar in many ways that she would never differentiate. I hate to say it, but she loves a lot of R&B and stuff. She's a big Boys to Men fan, which, believe it or not, I've warmed up to. They do a hell of a rendition of "In the Still of the Night." It's great. And I don't know, I like some R&B just a little bit. It's definitely something I had to warm up to, but she certainly helped me with that. And it's sure a hell of a lot better than a lot of the mumblecore hip-hop today that, you could expect your girlfriend to be into. The Migos and the Drake and, he's not mumblecore, but you know what I mean.
Sure, yeah.
And
rap, bar rap.
This is funny, too. She introduced me to a Bruno Mars song that I love. because it reminds me so deeply of Michael Jackson, Versace on the Dance Floor. It's a great song. It's really good. I may still hate Bruno Mars, but it's a good-ass song.
You say you hate him? Honestly...
I don't hate him. I don't hate him. It's just I'm just like pop star, disgusting pop star, just like Nick Jonas.
Sure. But seriously, everything I've heard from him, like, I don't know. That's not bad.
Yeah, Versace on the Dance Floor might be the outro. Who knows? A Christmas jingle. But it was very benign to me and kind of good. And I don't know. She's exposed me to a lot of stuff, non-romantic movies included. That I've just been very impressed with, because I don't think, like, with you and I, if we were bizarrely dating for whatever fucking reason, never would have been broached. But she is such a different figure in my life, from such a different cultural background, and I feel so much for her and so much fondness and just absolute adoration that I've never given this kind of music a chance before, and some of it I really do like.
I might be changing my pick on the fly. Okay, keep going now.
And I don't know. She is helping me.
Can we do 2 music picks, please, for the Christmas cast?
I was just thinking this.
Yeah!
Just thinking that.
Woo! Let's get a better one. There we go.
Skin on skin.
Solid.
We had to do a high five. I was just thinking the same thing.
Because I'm about to bust out a dance for my first
No. I'm going to break it first.
Break me out.
This is an absolute fucking unbelievable occasion. Double music picks! Holy shit! She hates Grizzly Bear.
God damn it.
She despised Ready Able. I finally
despised it. I actively despise
you. I am the table. Oh, don't break it again. You don't flip over more liquor bottles. But look,
Ariel, listen, I haven't been very vocal on this podcast. I just want you to know I put a hole through the first table on the first Christmas cast. I'm gonna do it again. It's plastic. It's fiberglass. Even. That cannot be real. That could not have happened. That could not have happened. That could not be real.
My music pick part 1. Losing All Sense by Grizzly Bear. This is for you, Ariel.
Could I ask of you not to cut into me, dividing all of my body for me? I was left here to go through all the pieces, nothing more to spare.
That's me, number 1.
I like that you have a Grizzly Bear song pick. You know what song I've had?
As really a slap to my girlfriend, to be totally honest.
You know what I've had stuck in my head for the past couple weeks?
Sell it.
Huh?
Sell it to me.
What?
Sell it to me like a bill of goods.
Well, it's not my music pick, but I'm just saying.
Ready Able.
A song I've really underappreciated, even though it's probably the most
Southern
popular
Point.
one. 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
It's too jangly. It's very much like this is our pop song.
Yeah, but man,
It's a good song.
I don't think I appreciated
It's really
that
good.
song.
Hey,
until
look.
recently.
All right. We're going to do this right now because I find it extremely amusing. Let's gang up on Ariel. Look.
Okay.
Chris.
Don't make me smack the table again. For God's sake.
Look, you've already made an ass of yourself once. Usually I'm the one.
I've done it multiple times.
Ariel, listen to Grizzly Bear. Listen to 2 Weeks. Listen to Southern Point. Listen to Ready Able. Listen to Losing All Sense. Just, you'll come around. Just accept it out of the norm of your wheelhouse. You'll take it. Anything to add? Just full poetic license. Just, you can do it. Just lay into her.
No.
Come on.
I can't do that.
He's such a gentleman. I hate it sometimes. I really do. You fucking stallion over here. Fucking noble knight with his steed. Come on. What is it? What's your music pick? Come on.
Oh.
Let's keep it rolling.
This is something, I really go out of my way some days. I scour the internet. I scour YouTube. I scour my friends' suggestions.
Scour my tube.
I do.
Oh.
And I say,
Yeah.
modern rap, it can be good. I like how you just effectively jumbled things like modern mumble rap does. But anyway, I go out of my way to find modern rappers to prove to myself and really reassure myself that maybe hip-hop ain't dead.
That's why you've decided on Hopsin.
I'm going to slit your throat. Ear to ear.
Oh, a Chelsea grin. A Glasgow smile.
Yes.
Jeez.
Some know it as that.
Jeez.
Anyway, you could hate this for all I know. I don't know. You could. You really could. But my first pick of the ChristmasCast 2K18
Uh-oh.
is Rose Gold by Isaiah Rashad, a young man from Chattanooga, Tennessee.
I don't know why I feel all in green, and I know my heart ain't built to bleed, but I came back informed to chase my tracks and roll where I ain't supposed to know. Some gold, a face so shy, a friend so cold. Some gold, a place so high, and friends so
I don't know who you're trying to steal. My girlfriend or me?
I don't know what you think about that.
Gosh. I actually liked it.
I'm surprised. I thought you might not like
it was okay. So compared to your usual like picks from that genre, it was it was the biggest step towards mumblecore that could be. But at the same time, it's so still different from that. It's still
That's actually exactly what I was thinking the whole time. I was like, I hate it when rappers specifically don't like enunciate properly, but like there's something about that works in a way.
Well,
it was like so laid
for this
back.
particular song that's so smooth, and it's about the flow of it and just that smoothness. Like I just said, sorry to be redundant. Like it fits with it. I honestly liked whatever that user video was for this video. It was really kind of good. It was kind of an old, like kind of early 30s, 40s cartoon. That was nice. It was easily digestible.
He has another song too. I can't remember what it's called. But
it's taking music pick?
It's similarly no. It's the same like, and he doesn't always do that. That's the thing. He doesn't always just kind of go, like kind of like huff out what he's saying.
It was kind of deflated in like a way that's just like this unusual resignation to fate.
I usually hate that though, but there's something about
there's more of a philosophy.
There's something about that song and the other one that's similar. That's just like I get it. Like in this particular situation, it works. I don't know.
And this is the key that I've told largely to Ariel about any form of, excuse my terminology, but black music. Like if I hear just that, like
the
I've
trap
described it as like pulling
a chain
like
link fence.
A chain link fence with a pipe through it.
It's
the trap electronic drum beat.
Yeah.
If I hear that, automatic disqualification. Yeah. That had none of it. It was still like a sort of like canned beat, but it wasn't that annoying ass shit, you know what I'm talking about. That is so generic. And I don't know, it was like a smooth ride. It was like Foghat had a weird brother.
Smooth ride. Nicely
slow,
done. I'll give
slow
you
ride
props
versus
for that
smooth
one.
ride.
Nicely done.
Okay, I like it a lot. It was very brief too, which is another thing.
It's
I
actually
think
the reason I gave you the exact song title. It's actually half a song, so it transitions halfway
is
through.
that you can have a second pick.
No, I don't like the first half that much.
I am reminded of the brevity of the song that Daniel chose from Mad Villain, like that digestible 1.5 to 2 minute song, and the hip hop verse where it's very laid back and chill, and it has nothing to prove except like the vibe it wants to present. That is something I adore. I didn't catch a whole lot from the lyrics, as you know, because I'm me, but it was still just like I really enjoyed it. I really did. It wasn't exactly the most Christmassy pick like mine was.
Well, that's why we're talking about two. Oh yeah, your pick was very Christmassy. That's why we're picking
talking
two.
about Tupac. Oh,
that's why we're talking about two picks. I mean,
2 Pacs and 2 picks. Oh my God, title right there. I kind of wanted my.
You can have the outro. I'll go again if you want.
That's a rare double burn. Are you ready to do the double
I'm ready.
burn?
I've been ready.
Are you sure it's not an outro pick?
It's not.
Mine's an outro pick.
It could be. But
Mine's a
no, listen,
hardcore,
if you really,
serious outro
if you really
pick.
want it to be.
What's the mood? Is it levity? Is it sorrow? What's it closer to?
I'm resting on my lawyers.
You will be after this podcast when I press charges with your stupid ass.
I'm resting
for
on
fucking ruining my carpet with liquor and beer.
Resting on my laurels a bit and choosing a laid back psychedelic kind of thing.
Hit me like the LSD.
Well, hold on. What kind of music?
2 tabs earlier today.
What kind of music did you listen to when you rode with your parents to school? When they would carpool with you? Curious.
Typically, my father listened to either John Boy and Billy and Rick and Bubba.
Rick and Morty.
Rick and Bubba. Or no, Morty and Bubba. Oh, what? Man. What? The night they drove old Dixie down?
But like, what genre of music was it? I know what you're talking about.
He only listened to talk radio.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
My mother listens to K-Love.
Which is a Christian thing, right? My mother always listened to, like, 60s oldies kind of stuff.
Jefferson Airplane.
Well, that might have come up a few times. But specifically, there was always this one song that I liked, but it was very, at the time, boring to me as a young child.
Oh, this?
No.
Oh, sorry.
But it had this ending that I always found quite fascinating, where it used this.
Did it involve an automobile?
No.
Okay, continue.
I don't think so.
Continue.
It always involved this ending where the guy's voice was modulated or whatever happened.
Throwing out the musical terms.
Whatever happened, and it was always stuck in my head. I don't know for how long, but I finally found it again. I finally found that song.
Eiffel 65 song.
No, I finally found the song again. It's an oldies song from the 60s.
Do it.
It's Tommy James and the Shondells, Crimson and Clover.
Oh, I know this song. I know this song very well.
Would you come walking over? Now I've been waiting to show her crimson and clover over and over.
I don't know about you, but look, that was the over 5-minute version of that song, and it has 30,781,797
What
views.
about the music video for it?
A static shot of a demonic face?
Nope. No.
What about it?
What did you even look up?
Just the song.
Search it again. Let me look.
Tommy James, Crimson and Clover. Didn't they play this in The Sopranos? Oh, here it is.
How much is that?
I don't know. It's Google Pixel 3 with Cardi B.
How many views?
-6.
Come on.
I can't. 500,000.
Whatever.
I mean, the facts are the fact. The facts. The people like what they want. People want what they like. And that's why Jay decides to finally ride this nasty Christmas mess out in his disgusting slushy sleigh that is just caked in mess and nightmare fuel. Getting out of this pop star retrospective. Getting out of this. Oh, I forgot to mention the whole point of me bringing up Dark Souls was I have a Bloodborne apprentice. I wanted to note that. It's big. What you did to me, I cursed another with. Corey, I'm shouting out to you. I want you to hear it and be it and feel it. You don't think it's neat that you did that to me and then I did it to someone else finally? Like what you did with me and what I stuck to for so long, they've done the same thing. Perhaps not for 450 hours, but what do you have to say?
I didn't do that with you with Dark Souls.
No, but with Bloodborne, the same way you got me into it, it hooked me, and then I got someone into it and hooked them.
My favorite part about that is the early videos that we recorded on this channel of us playing Bloodborne. You're like, what's the motivation? I don't get it.
As we both know, in the years since you've got me into these FromSoft games, I have made quite a turnaround with everything, and I can't wait for Shadows Die Twice. Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. That's our next game, right?
Yep.
Maybe
Probably for both of us.
Maybe I'll have beaten Red Dead 2 by then.
Maybe.
But until then, guys, if you really feel like you've been fucked by that, if you feel like you've been fucked by this podcast, well, we're talking about pop stars, shit that ain't so Christmassy. Goddamn.
Nothing was.
6 a.m. by the time this thing is finished.
There was zero Christmas talk.
This is how we both feel. Well, except for my naughty list.
Yeah.
Santa will be delivering, like, failing careers after this. This is my final music pick for this podcast, and it's exactly how I feel. This is Stripped.
Metropolis has nothing amiss. Your breathing infused, I taste when we kiss. Take my hand, come back to the land where everything's ours for a few hours. Let me see you stripped down to the bone. Let me see you stripped down to the bone. Let me hear you make decisions without your television. Let me hear you speaking just for me.
As I've gotten older and older, I don't know, I've had a weird come around on Depeche Mode.
Oh no, I've listened to their first album, but that's about it. But I'm a
You
big
heard that?
fan. I was listening to Depeche Mode's first album when I platinumed Dark Souls 3.
Wow.
The Spotify app on PlayStation.
Well, I can't recall if this song was on that album or not.
No, it was not, but it was a really strange mood I was in at the
But
time.
Depeche Mode is this. I really don't know what to say about them. I mean, who was it? Joe's father or something that was so into them? Or?
Arts.
Arts.
It's his
I
favorite
always
band.
mix them
Arts
up.
dad, Isidro.
Why do I do that?
That's his favorite band.
Isidro.
Isidro.
It's just that band is.
Like
Like I say, every year I get older, I discover more and more that I like about them.
there's a music pick that I might do in the future, but it's Depeche Mode's keyboardist or one of them at least. I don't know. I don't know what their
There
band.
could be 6.
I don't know what their band makeup is, honestly. And someone else,
lot.
a female singer, but they have a song called "Only You" I really like, and they formed a
That
band
sounds very
called
80s.
Yaz, Y-A-Z.
Whoa.
I really like that. That probably should have been another
What about Stripped?
pick.
What
I
about
liked it a lot.
Stripped?
I liked it a lot.
I love their more
I like the
personal
mode.
songs.
I like the mode.
You like the Depeche?
Will you shake the disease?
Shake the Disease is another one very similar to that song. It's like a lot of their songs are very deeply personal, but there's just a hipness to them that kind of endures in an unusual way. And the music video we saw was very, it is like a page out of like, what is it? What's the movie? What are those movies I like? Highlander. It's like a Highlander city scene,
God.
you know? I don't know if I showed you that movie, but
Oh,
it's
yeah?
just everyone in leather jackets and the ridiculous hair, and it's just so like dark, and there's like mist and haze, and everything's so grim and wet. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. How do we take out it? How do we take out? How do we take out? How do we take out it? How? We've said so much. This thing's gonna be like 2.5 hours. How do we do it? How do we break ourselves from this long ass fucking thing?
Ceremonial pouring of the beer upon your head. While I die, you
sign
will
up for
be dead.
You signed up for that. Wait, no. Wait, what?
As I lay the Pilsner across your chest, grip it hard, you will not be the best. The Coors Trans Am has returned. Fear not, your life will be spurned.
Merry Christmas.
The Coors Light has returned, humanity's blight.
Our holiday. Delight!
The light yellow taste, what a waste.
Corn-flavored water fuel getting in my nasty tool. Play a song. Goodbye.